Welcome back to another episode of Risk Check Podcast. The gang is back together again. The dynamic duo allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Perri.
And I'm Rashawn.
And this is WCP. We have a very special pair of guests this evening. One of them happens to be a WCP alumni.
Yes.
The other one is new to the show, a gentleman whom we just met tonight. We've been hanging out for some time, who happens to be an amazing storyteller. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what stories he's going to tell. But if you've been watching for a long time, you know you've seen Solomon.
Yes.
Shout out to Solomon.
Yes.
And we have his friend Bird here with us. Welcome, gentlemen.
Woo!
It's good to have you guys here. It's funny because a while ago, I want to say maybe a month ago, Solomon texted me. He's like, I'm ready to come back on the show.
Yeah.
We got some updates.
Yes.
Just be ready for me.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to see what he had in store because, I do consider you a pretty prolific collector for someone your age.
Thank you. Huge compliment coming from you.
No, it's the truth. And I think you have amazing taste in watches. The passion that you bring to the space for collecting, I think was definitely exhibited in the first episode that we did with you. We got a lot of compliments about that episode and definitely one of my favorites.
Thank you.
You also are a great storyteller and very animated. And so I'm also looking forward to what you have to share with us this evening. You guys brought some watches through and there's some heaters, but you've seen the show. You know how this goes. Before we continue any further, we always start with the man who never repeats a watch, quote unquote. He's repeating a watch tonight, but it's a good one. It's a new one, newish, right? Mr. Smith, what's on the wrist?
So one of my latest pickups, just a watch that I cannot part with. I'm wearing the trusty JLC Reverso.
Let's go. Get him.
I had to rock this because I had some fly cats coming out tonight. And so when you speak to people with a high taste level, you got to come correct.
Respect.
And so I was like, if I'm going to do it, I got to bring out all the flips and tricks.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Pun intended, flips and tricks. The Reverso has a long, lengthy history. And, for our two guests here, we were talking off camera, just how they connected, their history and how they started in their career and where they are now and where they're going.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the inception of a brand like JLC that have first started as collaborators to then go ahead and to create and build on their own. And that's what I see in you two gentlemen.
That's dope.
So, there's always a method to my madness. And if I'm going to repeat a watch, it's going to be for a damn good reason.
Oh,
Respect.
Oh, man.
What an intro.
I'm impressed.
Solomon, I think you should go next. You got something special on the wrist.
Oh, for sure. So this is one of my favorite dailies. It's my stainless steel Audemars Piguet open work double balanced.
Let's
right?
get him.
I love this watch. Shout out to Myra. Shout out to Ginny. Ginny's actually no longer.
I know she left. Isn't that
no
crazy?
longer the CEO. Who's replacing Ginny?
So they did find a replacement. They haven't announced
I didn't get a call.
their name yet.
I didn't get a call.
That would be nice.
I didn't get a call. All right.
You would see a QP on my wrist right now. No, she did leave. And shout out to Ginny. She was an amazing CEO for the North American market. It's funny because we were just talking about her with another guest that we had here earlier. I think what impressed me about Ginny was
the handwritten letters.
Not only that, but which is very impressive, right? For a CEO to do that.
Sheesh.
But she was also one of those people who not only had photographic memory, remember your face, but she remembered your name.
Yeah, she was.
In a room full of people, maybe having met you only once and shared maybe 15-minute conversation with you, she'd remember your name.
Yeah.
And I was always really impressed by that because she was always client-centric.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. So she did an amazing job at AP. I know a lot of people are sad to see her leave, but I do know that she is entering a new phase in her career and she's quite happy about it. So I'm happy for her.
Yeah, I'm happy for her too, but she would definitely be missed, man. She was great. She got in around the time Francois was leaving, right?
he was kind of fading out
Yeah, he
when
was fading out
when
around
she
that
got
time.
in. Yeah.
But I think she took the brand in great places, right?
They did an amazing job,
Yeah.
particularly in the North American market. There was a lot of great releases under her reign. They opened AP House while
Yeah.
she was there and
Facts.
have since expanded it. So yeah, I wish her well in her next phase of her career.
Shout out to you. We need some QPs though. If you do anything,
Yeah.
if you do anything for us from wherever you are, just 2 QPs.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I'll go next and we'll save our new guest for last.
Okay.
I am wearing a new watch. I'm wearing the Anoma A1 Optical.
Very nice.
It is nice. Yeah. So this is a new watch from Anoma. For those of you that know Anoma, they created this sort of sculptural watch case. It's like a triangle, but it's the corners are not as pronounced. Everything is kind of rounded edges, and it's quite nice. Feels sort of reminiscent of a watch that maybe a JLC or a Cartier might produce. But on this go around, they have this really nice dial work. This color is the copper version, and it's got these circular patterns that sort of interlock one another around the triangle. So you get this effect that almost looks like there's something on the dial that is spinning. But the cool thing about it is the way it plays with light. So you have sort of a multi-directional lighting experience on the dial. This one is limited to, I think, 300 pieces between both models. The first release was a big hit. And from what I've already seen and heard in the social media spaces and amongst collectors, this one looks like it's going to be a big hit as well. So people are pretty happy about this. So shout out to Anoma.
I want to throw something in there, right? And I've been dying to kind of throw this analogy in, and you two are the perfect people for it. And I think about how many watch brands are popping up, right? And I think, not everybody can make a watch, and definitely make a good watch. And I think even in your industry, you guys' industry, where you go, not everybody can rap. You're like, give it up. Sorry to crush on people's dreams, but I'm just saying more in terms of, like, everybody can't do this. And I think there's an opportunity for people to appreciate it from afar, right? Or contribute in different ways. And that's basically what you two gentlemen have done.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I think about it all the time, right? We had this quick story about, them trying to sell us the Carl F. Boucherie watches or whatever the case may be. And, that moment, I always thought before that I would design the most amazing watch ever. And then at that moment, when they handed us all the stuff, I didn't know what to do with anything. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Right? And me, who loves watches, who a huge collector, all this other stuff, then spent all this money on watches, I didn't even know where to start in trying to create my own thing, right? So it was just like, don't get me wrong, if I had the opportunity to do a piece unique from, the good folks at I have some ideas, right? Ideas, but a blank canvas is completely different, right? So when I see something like that with an amazing shape and this really cool, dope dial work, great band, it's exciting, right? Because it's something super fresh and it's super new, and we haven't seen something like that.
Bird, you're new to the show, and you came through with some pieces. What do you got on the wrist, my man?
I mean, save the best for last.
Yeah.
It's funny. Before off air, Solomon was saying, Bird, you got the hood trophy. Where we come from, everybody wants to get a Rolex, and the first Rolex they get sometimes
Prezi
is the Prezi.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny. I'm keeping it real.
That's
Shout out
definitely
Solomon.
not the first Rolex. That's the first one they want, though, for sure.
So the first one everybody really wants.
Yes.
And how I got this watch is funny. Solomon called me one day, say, hey, Bird, I'm about to go to the Rolex store. You come with me? I said, let's go. Get to the store. The guy said, what are you getting? I said, I'm just here with Solomon. He said, what do you want? I said, I want a Prezi. He said, all right, well, let's get it. I said, oh, for real? He said, yeah.
Wow.
That's
and
dope.
I got the Rolex.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Solomon.
And this was your first Rolex?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't my first, but it was. My first Prezi was a 36 millimeter.
Okay.
I got that in 2015. Then my second Rolex was a two-tone gold and steel Sky Dweller.
Yeah.
So this was my fifth Rolex.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, this was my fifth Rolex.
Nice.
But I couldn't get it because I wanted to get it from the store. I didn't want to get it from a jeweler. No
right. No,
disrespect to
you
them.
wanted to get it
I
from
wanted to
retail.
walk into Rolex and get my Prezi like how everybody else got their Prezi.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Shout out to
You
Solomon.
wanted the experience.
The experience was superb. I wasn't even going to get a watch. I was just there supporting Solomon. He said,
tough.
what are you getting? I said, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
And he bought the Rolex. Shout out to Andrew.
That's dope. Getting into things. I think first it's probably best we kind of establish sort of how you guys know one another. For those watching and listening who are unfamiliar with the two of you, you two are essentially record execs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Correct,
I think that's the best way to describe you. You guys are two young gentlemen, and I think we can still say young. We're all youthful here, right?
35, yeah.
38. I'm on.
That's on status now.
Yeah,
We're on
now
status.
you are, yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah, my
That
son
might
calls
have to
me
be the
Uncle.
name of the episode, Unc. But you guys have had pretty amazing careers working inside of the music industry. And what I love about Solomon, and I think that rings true with you just hanging out with you for the hour that we had before the show, is how grounded the two of you are, even with all the success and having this appreciation for horology and collecting watches. But I would like to know, how did you two guys meet to be able
Can I start it?
to get into this watch thing?
We have
together?
we have two mutual friends. One I grew up with as a child. The other one I grew up with maybe like teenagers. Io Deli Fresh, and my friend
Shout out
Manny.
to Deli.
So one day, my man Manny's like, "Yo, pull up to Solomon crib." I didn't know who Solomon was yet, but he gave us the address. I said, "What are you going to say?" "Oh, we just there chilling. We in the studio. Pull up." So I was with my friend Io. We pulled up, and we going up the stairs. Solomon has a studio in his house in the attic, if I'm not mistaken.
My mom's crib.
I don't know
Wow.
Solomon from Can of Paint. It's like 4 or 5 other people. There's another artist out there named Alec. He was out there, and we in his crib, and he's engineering and playing beats, and I'm like, wow, this is dope. Like, I was already in music. I started in music around 2010, 2011 with Brick Squad.
Okay.
So I was already knee deep with music, but I was like the executive, the manager. I wasn't really doing like the engineering or producing. Solomon was literally engineering the session. I'm like, smart, man. Like, then we chopped it up, but it wasn't even for that long. We probably did it for an hour, and that was it. A few years later, Solomon's on top of the world with one of his clients, XXX.
Yep.
This is probably like maybe 5-6 years later.
Wow.
But we see each other on passing, small talk. I'm just being honest. And he's on top of the world. He's like, "Hey, Bird, do me a favor. I need somebody who's reliable. I need like an assistant, somebody that's going to help me with my business." I said, "I know the perfect guy for you." And his name was Veli. And Veli and Solomon became Batman and Robin, Shaq and Kobe.
Wow.
And
I
that's
don't know how many million records we done sold together. Shout out to Veli.
Wow.
That's
Shout
true.
out
So
to Veli.
and Veli Solomon actually groomed Veli and molded him to become, he could be sitting on the couch like us, a big executive in his business, well respected. Artists love him. The business loves him. I love him. Solomon loves him. And he came up under Solomon, and Solomon asked for recommendation. I gave him Veli. Solomon never looked back. Until this day, he's like, "Yo, Bird, I really appreciate you for Veli."
Wow. That's
Nah, for
amazing.
real. Like,
Yeah.
I love X. We had a great career, great everything together. But Veli's probably one of my best signings, right? As an executive, right? Just for what he grew up in, what he grew into. When I first met him, he was a landscaper. Right now,
Oh,
he
wow.
owns a house, drives a nice Mercedes, owns
his
own-
Rolexes.
Yeah, nice Rolex.
We always find a way to drag someone into the
No,
hobby.
you know what? That's always been my thing, right? Like, the Bible says, "Won't for your brother what you want for yourself," right?
Yes.
So for me, I want all my brothers to have something nice on the wrist. So even though I know he wasn't that type of guy, maybe a few years ago when we really started to do well together, the first Christmas gift I gave him was a Rolex. I think it was like an Explorer or something like that.
It's a good
at the
first
time.
one.
Yeah, it was like, it's your first Rolex.
Yeah.
It's something just for you to catch the bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to this day, I still see him wearing that Rolex, and I'm very proud. You
Wow.
feel me? It's just like, I love it.
Yeah,
Shout out
that's
to Veli.
awesome.
Shout out to Veli.
Well, what does it mean for you two, right, to be starting your careers at the ground level, right? Bird, you starting with Brick Squad, right, and kind of getting your toes or your feet wet in the music business, to even Solomon, right, your mom having a studio and you actually having to do the work yourself. What does it mean to you two to now be able to collaborate and come together and reach this level of success?
Yo, so honestly, to me, it means everything, right? That's why Bird is one of my most trusted friends, most closest partners. Like, recently, we just started a new company together named Courtesy Of, right? Because we've had so much success unintentionally together, right? Like, we got a record together called Love, right?
That's Diamond.
That's not only is it diamond, right?
Let him know.
Not only is it diamond, right? Because there's maybe like 70 other 80 records in the history of music that are diamond. But this is also the biggest song in SoundCloud history, right? Very proud to say that, right? And of course, you know, XXX Tentacion and Internet Money came together to do that. Also with Trippie Redd, shout out Trippie. But that's one of the biggest records in SoundCloud history, and we had that together as bros, and where we started together from being in Queens. It's like, it really means a lot to me, right? That's one of the biggest plaques I own and have in my crib, right? Yeah, I got a few other diamonds, but that one, that one is very special, right? That one is very special, right? Because, you know, I did that with my brother, even though at the time I didn't realize we was doing it together, right?
Right.
But just even in a way to celebrate it, right? I remember, you know, when I first got connected with Andrew, and I'm like, yo, Bird, yo, let's go get these watches, right? As a way to just kind of celebrate it. Because I always have this thing where it's just like, yo, guys like us, we're not necessarily supposed to be here, right?
Mhm.
So we have to celebrate the fact that we're here, right? And then we got to show the next dudes coming up behind us, not only is it possible, but we here, we stunting, and we making it look good.
Yes,
So come
sir.
on, it's your turn.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So that's always been the motion. So I've always just wanted to have that celebrating. And, you know, when you have a friend and you guys are both on the same level of success, it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no stress on the relationship,
Mm.
right? You don't really need each other. You want to be around each other, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that you necessarily want from each other, but you could give each other advice. You could, you know, you could share, you know, opinions. You could share stories, share resources, whatever the case may be, right? And Bird has always been like my advice man, right? I remember when I was living in the city, came to my apartment, like, yo, great apartment, nice penthouse.
Listen.
Go buy a house.
Yeah.
Pack this shit up, go buy a house. You wasting your money. Never look back. Been
Wow.
buying beautiful homes ever since then,
Wow.
right? I remember, you know, I left Republic Records after X died, right? I was real, just kind of like depressed, right? I didn't know what I was going to do with my career, right? Because what I invested all of this time and energy and love into, I felt got robbed from me.
Yeah.
And I remember Bird walking into my crib like, you sad? You sad in this Ferraris in your driveway and you got this beautiful house? He's like, if you don't get together, snap the out of it.
Let's go.
2 days later, I signed some kid named 645 AR. This was right before the pandemic. Me and Valley went on a run in the pandemic, probably signed 10 artists to major label deals, right?
The
And,
party girl artist, what's his name?
Stay Solid Rocky.
Stay Solid Rocky.
He's 7 times platinum
Wow,
right now. And
wow.
all of this was because of the pep talk that I got from my man, right?
Mm.
Even though I was not in this great space, he could see right through it where it's just like, yo, bro, don't worry about this. Just get back to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all I needed to hear.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's funny, right? We was in the car on the way over here, and I'm in the back seat because I'm injured. I'm like, yo, Solomon, do you know you had an artist like Biggie, Pac, Drake, Weeknd at that caliber? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, do you know what kind of artist you had in your hand?
Mhm.
I mean, unfortunate situation, he passed, but it's like, not too many people can say, I managed Biggie Smalls or
Yeah.
Tupac or The Weeknd or Drake. Manage XXX, bro. Like, so some of these kids,
He's an icon.
he's Tupac and Biggie. They don't
Yeah.
know Tupac and Biggie. Like
Yes.
you manage like, and he didn't get to live up to. Maybe this wasn't where he was supposed to be. Maybe this is what God wanted him to be. But he could have become, as far as like with stats,
Yeah.
10 times bigger. And I'm like, bro, you managed him. Like, do you know how ill that is? And he sat back. He's like, it's crazy because one day I was in Greece and I'm at the bar, it's minding my business, and somebody says, "You're Solomon," and he's like, oh, I dropped my wallet. And he's like, no, you managed X, and he's like, how do you know me? He's like, your X's manager. Like, we loved X. He meant so much to us. And he's like, I just sat back like, wow. I'm all the way in Mykonos, Greece, and they know me.
It's
And I'm
crazy,
like,
right?
Solomon, you really had in your hand a Tupac and Biggie. Like, don't take that for granted.
Wow.
And that's part of the speech. I went out to his house. He was, and I'm gonna be honest, he was moping around sad. I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, you got your pajama pants on. You in this nice hat. This is just wrong. I'm being dead serious. White beater, pajama pants on. The dogs running around. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you? He's like, yeah, you know. I'm like, yo, bro, you were part of the X history. He's gone. Don't let him down, bro. That's what I told him. I said, you're letting him down. He's probably up there like, yo, what the f- you doing, bro? And literally, like he says, that's no cap. That same week, he called me like, yo, Bird. That's what I was like, yo, Bird. That's what happened. He's like, I got one, nigga, I got one. I said, word. The next day, I got another one. And these artists all, whether they went platinum or 7 times platinum, it boosted up his
Yeah.
trajectory. And he got more lit. And he's like, yo, he tells people, I'm being real. He be like, Bird is the one that came to my house and gave me that conversation. And I picked myself up. And that's a true story.
I told y'all Bird was an amazing storyteller.
Yeah.
It's all
It's
the
all
truth.
facts.
It's all the truth. Like,
So I love that we've established the relationship between the two of you. It's a beautiful story. You got him out of his funk and back into his career. Who got you into what? Did you get him into watches?
No, so he already had more watches than me, I think, in the beginning, right?
Okay.
Because he had a few
did.
different he did. He was like buying watches passively, right?
I see.
I was buying watches with real intent.
Yes.
Right? Like I was, there was a few Pateks I had, this was, I think, right before I got into like my AP bag, right?
Okay.
But I was just like, yo, bro, hey, I got this relationship from this dude. I know you like watches. Shout out to the dude. His name is Daniel Sturridge, world champion.
Shout out my
player.
man Daniel. Facts.
Shout out to you. Shout out to Tim Blacksmith who introduced us.
Yeah.
But long story short, I was like, yo, bro, let's go spend some money and have some fun, bro. Realistically.
Yeah, I love it.
It was from a person who I know wouldn't take it the wrong way because he
Right.
was successful in his own right.
Exactly.
So whatever I was gonna go get, I know he could go get something the same, lesser, more, whatever the case may be. So I was just like, yo, let's go do it together. And our guy Andrew Turin took real good care of us.
That's awesome.
That first watch was he bought the all rose gold root beer. I bought the two-tone root beer. That was
That's
the
the first joints we got together?
Yeah, facts.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Root beers. Both got root beers. I don't even drink that, but both got root beers.
I didn't even know what to get, right? The story was we was doing some type of shopping, right? We was like, yo, let's go bring our AD some gifts, right? Because we know we was trying to play the retail game. So we go buy some wallets or some silly from Goyard.
From Goyard,
yeah,
facts.
to go
facts,
bring
facts.
to the AD. And he could look, oh, no, I love y'all. This is so nice. I can't accept no gifts. And we thinking like, oh, damn, that's crazy. Oh, well, we try, whatever. He's like, well, what do y'all want? He said, what do we want? Watches. He's like, yeah, what watches do you want? And I was so caught off guard. I didn't even know what to say. Bird, like the genius here, said, yeah, root beers.
Yeah. The only reason I said it because my lawyer, shout out to Kobe, he had just got a root beer or gave his father root beer. So he's like,
I remember when it first dropped, it was like, that thing is hot.
he was like, everybody
Serious
talking about
watch.
root beers. So I'm like, you want some root beers?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you do?
Yep. Brought 2 right
He
out.
bought 2 out. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
They called out bluff.
Literally.
Diving into the pieces that we have here, I want to prime the pan first before we get into getting hot.
It's like cast iron talk.
Okay.
This piece right here is, I think, to your point when you talk about hood trophies, right? This is also a trophy in its own right. This is the watch that is one of the most recognizable. It's the old reliable. It's one of them ones.
Yeah.
And what I'm holding here is a two-tone date just 41 with a beautiful white dial, extremely polarizing on this solid Jubilee bracelet.
It's fire.
Very, very nice.
But you're missing one thing. Brand new. Never worn.
It is definitely minty.
And why
You
is
gotta
it?
turn the
Why
crown
hasn't
and
it
get a
been
crunch.
worn?
When I first bought the watch, right? I bought it to build a relationship with in the store in Short Hill. Shout out my man Gary. But then I went home and I'm like, nah, this is not for me. My son at the time was 13 years old. I said, I'm gonna give this to my son. Most people, where we come from, we don't really have the finances, the means to give meaningful objects like these to our children. Sometimes the others, they can pass down cars, they pass down stocks, they pass down watches, houses, you name it. Most of us are not fortunate. My dad died when I was 1. My mom raised 4 children. Shout out to my mother. She did a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I never was past a Rolex. My mom would never buy a Rolex. She has some now, but she would never buy a Rolex back then. And not because we couldn't afford it. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna get this to my son when he turns 16. So last September, I flew my mother, my son, his mother, my daughter, and we all went to Miami.
Okay.
That's where he wanted to go for his birthday. You ask him why, he loves Miami. So it's his birthday, whatever, we about to go to dinner. He's in the living room chilling. I think he might be playing with his sister. I have this on Instagram. And I walk over, I said, yo, D, he said, what's up? I said, happy birthday. So he's like, what is this? He's like, what is this? It's a Rolex box. He gave it to me. He said, it's for me? I'm like, yes, it's for you, brother. It's what I'm giving you as your 16. And I didn't do it to stunt or say we got some money. I did it because it's like, I can start a tradition. I can do something for my son. A lot of times you go to college and, the others, they come with watches. My grandfather gave this to me. My father gave this to me.
Right.
My son will be in college September 2026. He'll be in college. hopefully he can wear his watch
Yeah.
and say, my father gave this to me.
That's
and,
awesome.
And hopefully in the future he has children. Maybe he has a son one day. He can get his son a watch. And now we started a tradition that he'll say, my grandfather did. So when he has grandchildren, he'll say, yo, your great grandfather started this tradition. It's just something to give us our chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a book called Why Should the White Guys Have All the Fun?
Ooh, I love that book.
So it's a chance for us to have some fun too.
Absolutely.
And doing it with class, meaningfulness, and respect.
Yeah.
So that's the true meaning behind that watch. That's why I never wore it, never put it on. I bought it.
Saving it for
I didn't
him.
care about it. It's for my son.
That's tough.
And
love
now
that.
he has it.
So let me interject right in there because the joint I'm gonna talk about next is for my son too. I'm holding it for you, Jase, till you old enough. But this
It's getting warm.
It's getting warm.
I'm gonna wear that joint.
Daniel Jr. getting the unworn, still stickers and Rolex hang tags and all that. But the present that dad got for you is this beautiful Patek Philippe Aquanaut with the Tiffany stamp on that I damn near had to wait 3 years from. However, I remember when I was in the office in the back room at Tiffany's and they was filling out the certificate. And he's like, oh, you want me to make it out to your name? I said, absolutely not. He said, whose name do you want me to put it in? I said, put it in my son's name.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
When he turns 18, he's getting that watch.
Well,
for sure.
even though you said that it's going to be worn, there's still stickers
Yeah,
on
I
it.
was about to say.
There is still stickers on it. Because I mean, I've worn it a few times. Don't get me wrong. I have to make sure it fits right.
Make sure it fits right.
Yeah,
Make sure it fits right, you know? Make sure it fits right. But
Put it through his paces.
yeah, you know, but just, I think I wanted to give it to him with a little character,
Yeah.
right? You know, a nick or two
Yeah.
won't kill him. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Well,
And-
it's dad's watch.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
No, that's fire.
But the whole intention behind it was basically just exactly what Bird did, is right, just like having something to live. Like I didn't grow up with my dad. I don't know my dad, right? So now me having these two kids, even before I had my kids, I knew I was gonna give my art collection to my daughter. I was gonna give my watch collection to my son. You know, whatever else I had, but I wanted to pass down those family heirlooms that I never got.
Yeah.
Right.
And the same thing with Bird's family. My mom did her best, but she had two boys, immigrant, figuring things out. The best she could do is help me get on my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to take it from there.
Yeah. What I enjoy so much about this conversation as well is that you guys are really leading an example as, you know, what the decorum is as a young Black successful man. I think that's something that is very powerful. I think it's a lot of stories that's not told. I think it's an honor for you guys to come on this platform to even share this kind of story with us, because, you know, people need to know that, you know, you guys exist. People need to know that that your dreams can come true, that these things are possible. And when you have these luxuries, you have a responsibility to them.
Yeah.
To put them in new asset classes, to be able to give to others, to give them the head start that others do get, is very powerful. I think is extremely, you know, uplifting, and kind of changes the narrative for anybody that, you know, aren't familiar with our culture and kind of what we want to, you know, bring to that next generation.
Well, I think that, and just the fact that, like, you guys are clearly thinking about the future. You're thinking about your children. You're thinking about your families. That's the beautiful thing that's part of it too, right? Because, you know, as two young Black men who have expressed that you didn't have the luxury of being around your dad, I can see how much and how important it is to be a dad for the two of you. And I think that's one of the most moving things. And creating traditions, right? Like thinking about that thing. Like, you guys are the patriarch of your families now. And the fact that you're even thinking about, yo, let me start something that my family can continue after I'm no longer here. That can pass down my son, they can pass down to their daughter, their other children, and so on and so forth. I think says a lot just about us as a culture. And it makes me really proud to have you two here, especially as two people who are successful in their business for doing the right things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And leading that example. That's one of the beautiful things I think that a lot of people are going to get, you know, by this show, is that there's so much in media that doesn't reflect the fullness of who we are as a people. And here we have two very clear examples. and I'm loving this conversation. And then on top of that, like, guys got taste.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Very
This is
important.
not no Joe Schmo. This is a big game. You know what I'm saying? That we're playing right here because, you know, these are big boy pieces.
Yes,
and these
retail.
are storied brands, and you're playing it
Say that
with
again,
retail.
retail.
So
Yeah.
the beautiful thing, and for me, I think the other thing that's the through line, right, is the power of relationships that you display,
Yeah.
right? First, between the two of you and what you were able to contribute to one another through friendship, but then also understanding how relationships extends beyond you to a greater community. Whether it's helping you with your business, whether it's you helping someone and building a career for them, right? Or even just collecting watches and creating a hobby and building friendships out of that. What is it that sort of drives you today outside of, you know, creating these traditions and wanting to pass down watches to your family? You two are very successful. I think a lot of people often think about success and like, when I get to this place, I'm going to stop. I don't get the impression from the two of you that money is the greatest motivating factor today.
I have two really, really, really like hard motivating factors. The number one factor is being a cool dad,
Yeah.
right?
Why is that? And why is it important to be a cool dad?
Because it's like, you know, I've seen a lot of people, not a lot of people, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of people grow up with their dads, but I've seen a few people grow up with their dads. And I've seen some dads that tried their best and just didn't get the recognition they deserve, right? But I also seen dads who was like, oh yeah, my dad did this, and the kids would just literally just brag about their dads. I remember feeling so jealous, right, of my best friend Norman when I was a kid because his dad was just his dad would make sure the new Jordans came out, he had them. His dad would give us hit him $100 to buy the whole block ice cream at the ice cream truck. Like his dad was really setting him up to be a boss. And you know, maybe jealous isn't the word, but I knew that's how I wanted my kids to look at me, right? When he pulled up in his Benz and the whole block would stop playing basketball to make space for his dad, right? Like I always knew that's how I wanted my kids to look at me, right? So when I come home and my kids are like, oh my God, they're so happy to see me, or I'm able to do whatever cool thing for them or take them on a crazy trip or do whatever, that just means everything. Right?
Yeah.
It just means everything, just being able to do that for them. And I think right after that, the motivation, I think, is knowing that technically, I mean, listen, you know, our human bodies are finite, right? We're not going to be here for a long time, right? But through our work, we can live forever.
It's true.
Right? So that is a big thing for me, right? Because, man, I'm not even supposed to be here, bro. And I didn't somehow, some way made history with my brother. And, you know, through our new venture, courtesy of, we're going to continue to do that again, right? We're going to find new artists and save new lives and, you know, push the boundaries of what could be done and, you know, push the boundaries of pop culture and all of these things that, you know, I never would have thought that I'd be blessed enough to have the opportunity to do. So it means a lot to me. Those are the number one driving force is like, you know, continuing to make history and living forever through that and just being a cool dad to my children.
I love that.
So for me I have a saying, if you Google it, a lot of my interviews, blogs, I always say, I don't chase money, I chase opportunity. Money comes and goes, opportunity doesn't. But the opportunity could bring you more money.
Yeah.
I feel like, I believe in God. Like, I mean, that's just, it is what it is. There's a reason I'm in the position I'm in. Could have been my cousins, could have been my brothers. I have another brother, he's kind of successful, but we're not going to talk about that. I mean,
some competitive spirit.
If you want to do your research, you can do your research.
Yeah,
that's another story.
Gotcha.
But whatever. But I feel like he put me in the position that I'm in. I can't f this up, bro. Like, I'm here for a reason. So, like, you know, grandparents died. There's no fish fries. There's no GoFundMes. Here's the money for the funerals. Mom needs something. Here you go, mommy. Mommy knows she can count on all her kids. She count on herself, but here you go, mommy. My kids are doing whatever they got to do. Boom. You know what I'm saying? God put me in this position. People, I used to tell people this, and people thought I was crazy. I might think I'm crazy too. I was like, yo, I'm an angel on earth. They said, what the f are you talking about? I said, I don't mean that in a literal sense, like I'm an angel, but I feel like they put me here to help. And God made me successful and make a certain amount of money that I can help my friends. I got friends who have trouble with certain things. They know to come to me. Yo, I don't want to hear about it. Here, pay it. I might not even have it where I think I have it, but I know I have it enough to help you out. Do it. God put me in a position to do this thing. So There's people that are counting on me. And it might not be a literal sense, but I know, how do I say this? I'm like a Willy Wonka chocolate factory ticket. No, seriously though, because I might be their golden ticket.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
They might be getting evicted. Yo, I need the extra 3,000. All our friends don't have an extra 3,000 lying around. It's just the truth what I'm telling you.
You're a conduit.
You know what I'm saying? So where we come from right now, I guarantee we can go on our phones, call some of our best friends or people we grew up with. They say, I need 15,000. They're looking at like, who we got to go rob and what bank we got to go heist to get this money.
Yeah.
That's what drives me. Like, it's not about going buy nice cars or buy more watches or more sneakers, more jewelry. All that. I know I can help somebody. And I've always been a helper. I love helping. It's like I get a rush from that. And not for no thank yous, not for just because I know I pray to God somebody can do this for my kids one day.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, this is the same, my mom used to tell me, if you give somebody $1, it might not come back to you, but you got children. It's gonna go to them. They might need somebody say, can I get a drink of water, sir? Here you go. They might not give me that drink back. But one day my son or daughter might be thirsty and somebody give them a drink of water. And they say, yeah, that blessing came from your father. So that's my passion. That's my motivation. That's why I get up 6 a.m. I try to figure it out. I try to be as successful as I can because I know somebody might need me to count on me. And if I'm messing up God's blessing, they might be fucked up and it's my fault.
That's a great way.
That's just the truth.
Yeah. I love the way you put that. You're a conduit in the middle of all this. And I think that speaks to your careers because you guys are making magic happen in the lives of other people. Bird, you have another watch here that you've never worn. But it signifies a moment or a chapter in your life where you saw a huge success by taking a chance on someone in another country.
Correct, in the UK.
We want to talk about this. So we're looking at, this is the Panda Daytona.
Yep.
Stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it? What does this signify for you and how did this come into your life?
So fast forward real quick. I started in the music around 2010, 2011. I started with Brick Squad, Free My Dog Frenchie, shout out Young Joey. Those are my first 2 artists. Fast forward 2015, there's a song that's brewing on the radio. It goes Panda, 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 Panda. I'm like, yo, this song's on fire.
Yeah.
But it didn't really come out yet. Nobody really knew what was going on. And I'm like, yo, I got to find this producer because I need to manage this producer because it's dope. Fast forward, there's a producer named Menace from the UK. We're not friends no more. That's just the truth. And I'm saying we don't do business with each other, but still shout him out because he's part of my history and I'm part of his. He produced the Panda record. February 2016, song comes out. April 2016, I got the #1 record in the country, Panda.
Wow.
I was doing good in music. This changed my life. Tim Blacksmith, big dog in the music business, big publisher, gave me my first biggest check in my life. He believed in the record. He wanted to publish the producer Menace. He published him, flew us to Manchester, UK. We did the deal. First time I've been in UK. Shout out to Tim Blacksmith. So that's what the Panda watch means to me. My first biggest record in this business was the #1 record in the country, April 2016, Panda.
Wow.
And that's why I went so hard to get that watch. And I don't care about wearing it because when I see it, people say, Panda, Panda. To me, to you see Panda, Rolex. To me, I see the turning point of my music career.
Wow.
And that's what that watch means to me. So shout out Menace, shout out Navarro, shout out Tim Blacksmith.
Designer too.
Oh, shout out to Designer because he made the song.
Designer.
Listen, I don't know Designer. I mean, shout out Designers and shout out, Bob Celestin too. I mean, everybody, shout out Bob Celestin. It's just the truth. It is what it
There's
is.
a couple of different hands in the pot.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Make it happen.
But that's the truth with that watch.
And
That's
how
what
did
it
you
is.
get it? How did you actually end up getting the watch?
So I'm gonna tell you a little story. There's a previous watch before this. It's not on the table. It's a gold Submariner I got from my guy Gary at Rolex, and there's a funny story behind that, but we're not gonna talk about that today. When I come back like an honorary member like Solomon,
There we go.
I'll bring that story up.
Sure, yeah.
But one day I'm in the house with my daughter. My daughter might be like 4 months old. I'm in the crib and I'm baby in my hand. I'm sleeping. You know how baby in my hand sleeping.
Yeah.
I get a call. Ring, 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 ring. It's, hey, Gary. Hey, what's up, Bird? I got something for you. I said, what is it? I'm going to send you a picture. Okay, cool. He hangs up. Sends me a picture. I'm like, what's this? It's not even clear. What am I looking at? I said, Gary, what is this? He says, I'm not a photographer. I'm a watch seller. Do you want this watch or not? I said, what is it? The Panda. I call Solomon. I said, yo, bro, they got the Panda for me. He says, you stay at home? Yo, I call my driver, Muhammad. I get my daughter. I put her in her snowsuit. I tell her mom, I said, I got to go to the store real quick. For what? I said, I gotta go pick something up. She doesn't understand. So shoot to Short Hills Mall. Shout out my guy Gary, and I'm holding the Panda. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even go home after that. I took the Panda on tour. I shot back to Queens. Where I'm from Queens with my grandparents' house. My brother, I'm like, yo, bro, look, the Panda. He said, you gotta stand still Rolex. I said, you don't even know, man. I'm not even wasting my time.
I'm out of here.
That's hilarious.
That's it. If you know, you know.
So I'm not wasting my time. So it's funny you said I just got a memory. One of the last pictures, and the only pictures my daughter has of my grandfather who died a year later, 2 years later, no, a year later, June 2023, he's holding my daughter. I only went to the house that day. I got the Panda to show my older brother who didn't give about the watch.
Wow.
I ended up taking the picture with my grandfather and my daughter, and that's the only picture my grandfather has with my daughter that he died.
Wow.
I just thought about that while I was telling the story. True story.
That's crazy. So if it wasn't for Gary calling you, that might not have even happened.
My daughter might not have a picture with her great-grandfather.
Wow.
Facts.
And it's beautiful how
Rest in peace to my grandfather.
Rest in peace. It's beautiful how watches can evoke and channel, things that it conjure things up that we just don't know. It's very relevant when you speak of, time, right? Time is something that is an endless loop. It can end in one place, but it begins in another.
That's deep, man.
Sorry.
You know what's crazy? You rhyme like a poet, like, but like from the Renaissance time. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
My brother.
But my favorite part of the story, and there's a lot of great parts in that story, but one of my favorite parts is that you went to go show some people, and they were like, "What you doing?
You gotta stay still watch.
Staying still. It's not
I'm
going."
like, bro, it's the Panda, bro. It's like, who?
And then the other part where it's like you knew enough that like when your mom asked you where you going, you're like, I gotta pick something up.
No, that was my mom. It was my daughter's mother.
Your daughter's mother.
She's like, "We going?" I said, I gotta go to the store.
Mind
you, my daughter's like 5 months old. So she's like, "What do you mean? I have to get something. Like, I have no choice but to go get this. Like, I'll explain to you later."
Yeah, exactly. And when you came back, she goes, "You got a stainless steel watch?"
She picked this up. I think she probably said, "Where's mine?"
Oh no,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
She sent a 2-for-1 special, baby.
Yes,
That's funny. And we got one final watch here, and,
Yes,
and
we
this
do.
belongs to Solomon. And Oof. He came with me. He knew what he was doing.
yeah. That's why you wanted to come back, huh?
The people needed to see what's going on.
They need to see what's going on. This is definitely a if you know watch. This is not something that is, if you're in the watch community, you know about this, but it's still not mainstream.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
It's definitely, it's one of those pieces that, will turn heads for people that know about watches. But for outside, it's kind of like, what is that? Or who is that? But you have a very special timepiece.
Mhm.
Happens to be the only sports watch this brand makes. This is a FP Journe. Élégante.
What I am enjoying too about Solomon, you coming back and then showing this timepiece, it's showing the evolution of you collecting and you growing as a person. To Bird's point, when you think of like you getting a Panda Daytona and people just not being exposed to it, and they go, "You got a stainless steel watch." Like it's the same when it comes to FP Journe, right? Journe is one of those brands that is definitely, if you know, you know. And it almost is so solid that you don't even have to have that. You just like, don't even worry about it. Like, and it's not from a place of arrogance. It's just like, if I got to talk to you blue to the face for you to figure it out, come holler at me when you do. Yeah. And you go, "Oh, so that was what you was," and you like, "Yeah, I was telling you about that. I'm glad you caught on."
I mean, listen, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? For me, I've been collecting for a while, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to find something new, right? And for a few reasons, right? To differentiate my collection, to have one up on the next. You feel me? Honestly, right? Just to really do something different, right? And in my deep dives down independent horology, I found FP Journe, and Kevin O'Leary describes it to me the best way possible, right?
Okay.
He describes getting an FP Journe like buying a Picasso from Picasso while he's still alive.
Yes.
Great. That's actually a really
right? And
great way to put
when
that.
he said that, I was just like, "Oh, this is the truth, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly right." Because when you actually figure out why FP Journe is important in watchmaking. It's because he's literally breaking down everything we thought we knew about watchmaking, right? It's been a long time since somebody has been this innovative, right? A really long time, right? Like, you even think about like Rolexes, right? Or, APs or any one of these other brands, right? They're not breaking down the horological door of new concepts, right?
Sure.
New inventions, new innovation. And I think that's all that FP Journe does, right? Whether it's the Renaissance or, whether it's the Vagabondage, I love those watches, right? Or even the Elegante, right? He took what's a quartz watch, right? To what I would before stick my nose up at.
Sure.
Right? I would before literally look at like, I would never buy no quartz watches, manual wine only. However, he literally just did something so amazing, right? Because as much as I love manual wine only, I'm annoyed if I haven't picked up a watch in 3 weeks or a month, and now I'm spending all of this time trying to wind it and getting it right. Now, the Elegante got this little amazing mechanism at 4 o'clock, so when I put it down, it stops working for 35 minutes, but when I pick it up, the hands do this magical dance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And that is just so amazing. I remember when I got the watch, I couldn't wait just to take it off my wrist, put it down, and just
watch
literally
it.
just wait. I remember sending Bird a video.
He sent me the video. I'm like, what am I watching? I see going.
But it was just, to me, it was just amazing, right? It was
Yeah.
amazing. And I love the fact that people don't know about it, because if you don't know about it, let me educate you.
Yeah.
Let me educate you on why this is important and why you should take it down to Soho and put yourself on that list.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want a lot of us to go be a part of that brand, right? Because and they want us too, to be honest, right? Like they were happy. Like FP Journe has something. I'm not trying to blow up the brand, but if you want to get down with them, every first Tuesday every month they have like this like watch meetup, right, at their boutique, right? So you go to the boutique, you meet a bunch of people, a bunch of collectors already, and there's rarely ever any black people, right? But they want black people. They want, young executives or whatever the case may be, whoever you are in your life who's excited and really passionate about watches, not in a situation just to buy it and sell it, which, I mean, listen, you very well could, right? The watch cost me damn near $25,000.
It's reselling for like 90.
Yo, I'm seeing them 120,
It's
150.
crazy right now.
I saw one on Chrono the other day for 184.
It's nuts.
Right? So the brand is exploding, right? But when they was asking me, when I went down to them and I was expressing my interest, they're asking me about, all the other watches that I have and why I want one. And I told them the truth. I was just like, I want to just differentiate myself. This is like, it's become a lot easier to go get a watch from AP or Patek or from Rolex than it was when I first started, right? So it's just like, now what's going to be more difficult? How do I distinguish myself from not just my fellow collector, but in a space to where I feel like I want to just do something new, because I got all the APs I could ever want, right? I'm on my 4th, 5th Patek. I can't count how many Rolexes I done bought, right? So to me, this is the next level of horology, right? And it's really exciting, right? And he's alive and he's still doing things, and every watch, like, it's like he wants to know where every single watch is going. I think that's pretty cool. Right?
I love the word that you use. You use invention.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the most perfect descriptions when you're talking about FP Journe.
Absolutely. I think it's in the title. It's like, I created it, I invented it.
Exactly. The more you learn about the brand and what he's done over the years, even how he makes watches, he really is like a scientist. You talk about like the resonance, this dual time, complicated timepiece that self-regulates for supreme accuracy.
Yeah.
It's insane,
Yes.
but they're also beautiful. Right? Even his process and how he goes about creating watches, because not only does he design the movements, he designs the entire watch.
Yes.
And he'll design the dial first, because he's thinking about aesthetic beauty. And then when he's got the dial figured out, he'll go and he'll make the movement that works with the dial, which in many cases is backwards for a lot of watchmakers. They start with the movement first and then design the rest of the watch. He's like, no, this thing has to be beautiful. And I'm going to make it work for this because this is my vision. The immense amount of discipline and creativity that goes into that. I'm not the biggest Kevin O'Leary fan, but I have to give flowers where flowers are due. That is a hell of analogy for it, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm a big fan of FP Journe. I can't wait to own one day, preferably a CS Blue. One day.
Vassell, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, I hope you listen. Not only it's just like you said, it's like buying a Picasso from Picasso himself while he's still here.
But also, they're so beautiful, right? Like,
they really are.
Like, for example, like I spend a lot of time in the boutiques, just flipping the watches over with a loop and just looking at the movements, right? He makes all the movements in 24 karat gold. Like, it's really amazing. At the end of the day, nobody's looking at your movement, right?
No.
But to spend that much time to make them in gold, to make the finishing so amazing, to spare no attention to detail.
Yeah.
On something that nobody's gonna see except the owner.
Yes.
Is amazing. Right? Even the Elegante, the open case back is amazing on a quartz watch. Who's doing that?
And you see the heart?
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing.
It's funny, right? Every time I go online now, even though outside of Solomon giving me watch tutorials and videos and every day, I'm starting to see I'm like, oh, he got one on. I see Tom Brady got one on. The guy from Shark Tank said, oh, he got one on. And I'm like, Solomon, he's like, I'm telling you.
Yep.
So now I'll be like, yo,
Crown Prince of Bahrain with a watch.
Yeah.
You should have one.
Yes.
Well, like Hope said, why would I not have a watch like a Saudi prince?
And then I think also, like, I think about the FP Journe experience and how different it is from buying other watches. Like, they make it very clear when you walk in their boutique, we don't have anything to sell you.
Yeah.
So for you to even entertain building a relationship with them, you have to really build it.
Yeah, for
you have to show up, you have to hang out, because 9.9 out of 10 times they don't have anything for you.
Yeah. Seriously.
And you really got to wait.
I waited over 2 years.
Yeah.
Going to these events, building relationships, just trying, right? And again, I was pulling up, to the boutique and pulling up to their events with good watches, Pateks, Panda Daytona, skeleton APs, tourbillons, yellow gold, green face APs, whatever. I was coming with some to where they knew I was a real collector, but they still put you through the ringer, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not trying to wake up and see none of his watches on chrono.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
It's true.
No.
That's true.
There's a full immersive experience when it comes to Journe. And I've referred to it as like a 360 experience, because you have the introduction, you have the selling ceremony, and then you have after sales.
Yeah.
And still how relative we speak to the loop of time, right? Once you get that timepiece, then it's what you do after, right? And then you go ahead and you start the process again. And the services that Journe has been able to offer with the activations of the events, the restaurants that he has, I mean, he's, creating new build outs, etc., and all these kind of things. I think that's the approach that a lot of brands need to take, especially when you do have new people stepping into this hobby. We want to feel welcome. We want to feel respected, right? And in watches, this is the only space where it is democratic.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, everybody's in the same place because I don't have a watch to sell.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to get to that end goal?
Yeah.
Right? Some people do jump through more hoops than others, but in some cases, some motherfuckers deserve it.
I would say for Journe, it's like the events that they have, if you actually have a real care about horology, this is going to be exciting for you, right? Like, one of the first things I went to was a watch class, right?
Yep.
Where they basically let you, they put a movement in front of you. You got your own loop, you got all the pieces, you got the little finger gloves and all of that, and you got to take apart and reassemble a movement, right? And it gave me so much respect for watchmakers, right? At the point, I probably had 10 watches, right? I never would have thought about doing that, right? And the amount of time and precision it took for me to basically get the escapement right back in the case was forever. This is hard work. This is not for the faint of heart at all, right? This is real genius level engineering that goes into these watches, right? So the events that they provide give you a serious level of appreciation.
And it separates those who really want it from those who don't.
Exactly.
If you're just there just to get it, just to flex, you're going to be bored with these events because you're like, well, I got to go through this for the next however many months to 2 years. But when you really care about it, it is exciting to you.
100%.
Because there's a culture that's tied to it.
Facts. And then I think the people that you meet are wonderful, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think, I can't, just thank them for enough. The amount of people that are going to collect Journe, right? The people that are going to collect Journe want the best, right? So they have already done amazing things in their lives, right? So you're meeting people with great histories and great backstories and people that also want the best. So the sky's the limit on what you people can build after this. So the whole experience from top to bottom, amazing, right? I didn't know when the watch was gonna come. I randomly just got an email saying, yo, we've allocated you a piece. It's going to be in July. And I think they sent me that piece, and I saw that email in maybe April. So I didn't sleep from April till July.
You're not lying, because he definitely called me like, yo, I got the watch.
I remember this was right around the time the tariff came in. So I think the watch got held up at customs for tariffs for a little minute. I actually had to pay a little bit extra for tariffs. But I was happy because I knew the whole political tariff thing was only going to get worse, right?
So you got it at a good time.
So I definitely got it at a good time. Both of those watches.
That was before this 39% increase.
Right? And
crazy.
The problem with that is how I feel about that increase is, brands like Rolex know that their product is so hot that they don't have to care, right? They're going to pass it right along to the end consumer, right? And then there's other brands that their margins are so thin, they don't have a choice but to pass it on to the end consumer, right?
Yeah.
So I think it hurts watches. It hurts the community as a whole, right? Because the thing is, when whoever is running Switzerland and Donald Trump finally sit down and they come to some type of peace agreement, they're not going to roll back prices.
Nope. Once those prices go up, they don't come down.
They're stuck. So on the bright side, we've been collecting for a while. We got a great collection. Our whole collection is rising in value, but now everything else is more expensive. So I'm urging everybody, if you have an interest in buying something, now's the time.
Right now is the
forever
time.
hold your peace.
Because it's gonna be, especially if you're buying special expensive things, it's ridiculous, right? I'm seeing small independent watches that are, $1,300 retail now going for $1,900. Now imagine if you're buying a $50,000 watch. This is a big difference.
They're looking at the other day, stainless steel 41 AP Royal Oak.
Yeah.
The price was already increased to $30K. After a 39% increase, it's going to be almost $40,000.
Jeez.
That's like
what?
That's like entry level.
And that's retail.
That's retail.
So you gotta what's the secondary market gonna do?
Exactly. Everything's gonna come up. So these things are gonna become even further out of reach. So you're thinking about, and I was just talking to someone at a magazine about it. We were talking about it, and they're talking about how it's gonna affect like Gen Z and millennials. And I think for millennials that find themselves in the space financially where they can, it's just kind of that much more prohibitive. It's like, do I really want to spend that kind of money on a watch? Even if you have it, imagine what it's like first venturing out into collecting watches. You're already trying to get accustomed to spending these prices, and now you see, this thing is 40% higher than what it was. Now you're looking at a watch that just yesterday was $30K. Today is $40,000. And that's not appreciation. That's tax. I'm looking at it and then after tax, it's almost 50.
Yeah.
Wow. You're like, you know what? I'll pass.
So it's a lot. Listen, man, I know I'm blessed to be in a situation to where I can even afford some of these things, but it's just something got to give.
I feel you.
Right? Something got to give, right? Because
okay.
Bird's like, first world problems.
Think about it, right? Because it's what happens then, right? Because, at the end of the day, people will still buy Rolexes, right? But what about all the other brands?
Everything goes up. And the main key there, and listen, I get it. We're talking about luxury and it's not necessary. But from a business perspective and a market perspective, the majority of the people who are spending money on this stuff are not the 1%ers. Yeah, and so the businesses need to think about that. When the majority of your business is predicated on the middle class figuring out how they can acquire these items, you have a problem when these items increase 40%.
For real.
So it is a real thing that does need to be addressed.
I highly doubt they care. It's been happening since the beginning of time. They just gonna find people that's gonna buy it, and they don't even want some of the people that's trying to buy it anyway. So some of them probably like, thank God, yeah, go up a little more. That's just reality.
I think there's some consumers that feel that way, but for the brands, if you're a brand that makes heart horology, and let's say you produce 5,000 watches a year, it's a tough pill to swallow for you, because to his point, you have slimmer margins. You're already fighting an uphill battle with people trying to discover your brand. How, now if it's $50,000, someone's going to say, well, I'd rather spend that on the AP than even look at what you're talking about. And then those brands go out of business.
Out of business, they're dying. You're right,
so there is definitely a domino effect, but at the end of the day, it is first world problems.
Yes.
You guys have an amazing collection already and a lot to be proud of. This has been a real special treat for me. I've had a really, really great time this evening hanging out with the two of you. I didn't think I would be disappointed, because I know my man right here is the truth. So he was like, yo, it's cool if I'm bringing a friend. Like, for you, anyone.
Yes.
So the two of you, I appreciate you. Solomon.
Thank you so much, man.
Bird.
Thank you so much.
This has been a real treat. And I can't wait for the world to see this episode. You guys know where to find us. If you don't, richcheckpod.com, superniche.com, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Deuces.
Thank y'all so much, man.
Peace.